The draft notice arrived on June 17, 1968. It was a humid afternoon, I remember, cloudy and very quiet. I'd just come in from a round of golf. I remember opening up the letter, scanning the first few lines and feeling the blood go thick behind my eyes. I remember a sound in my head. It wasn't thinking, it was just a silent howl. A million things all at once. I was too good for this war. It couldn't happen. I was above it. It was pure flight, fast and mindless. I had no plan. Just hit the border at high speed and crash through and keep on running. Near dusk, I passed through Bemidji and then turned northeast towards International Falls. I had just reached the Rainy River when I met Elroy Burdall. He offered me exactly what I needed, a place to sit with my thoughts and decide whether or not to keep running. I passed through towns with familiar names, and then to Vietnam, where I was a soldier, and then home again. I was a coward. I went to war. The men of Alpha Company were an assorted lot. They each carried different things. Henry Dobbins was a big man. He carried extra rations. Dave Jensen carried several hotel-sized bars of soap. Ted Lavender carried 6 or 7 ounces of premium dope, tranquilizers, and an aluminum telescope. Norman Bowker carried chewing tobacco and a smiling Buddha. Kiowa carried an illustrated New Testament. Jimmy Cross carried 2 photographs of his high school crush, Martha. Mitchell Sanders carried the PRC-25 radio. Rat Kiley carried comic books. They would often discard things along the route of march. Purely for comfort, they would throw away rations, blow their claymores and grenades. No matter, because by nightfall the resupply choppers would arrive with more of the same. Then a day or two later, still more. Fresh watermelons and crates of ammunition and sunglasses and woolen sweaters. The resources were stunning. They carried it on their backs and shoulders, and for all the ambiguities of Vietnam, all the mysteries and unknowns, there was at least the single abiding certainty that they would never be at a loss for things to carry. One thing war can do is bring people closer together. And I still haven't seen a stronger bond than that of Rat Kiley and Kurt Lemon. He says he loves the guy. He says the guy is like his best friend in the world. Like they're soulmates. He says, like twins or something. They always played this one game involving smoke grenades, which were harmless unless you did stupid things. And what they did was pull out the pin and stand a few feet apart and play catch under the shade of those huge trees. Whoever chickened out was a yellow mother, and if nobody chickened out, the grenade would make a light popping sound and they'd be covered with smoke, and they'd laugh and dance around and then do it again. On the third day, Kurt Lemon stepped on a booby-trapped 105 round. He was playing catch with Rat Kiley, laughing, and then he was dead. He took a peculiar half-step, moving from shade into bright sunlight, and the booby-trapped 105 round blew him into a tree. Vietnam was full of strange stories, some improbable and some well beyond that. This one keeps returning to me. Mark Fossey was a man in another company who brought his girlfriend Mary Ann up to Vietnam to meet him. She was bright and bubbly and wore a pink sweater. But as she spent more and more time in Vietnam, she changed. She'd go out on patrol with the Green Beret, until one day she didn't come back at all. She was out on patrol when she disappeared. She wasn't shot, she just melted away into the dark green forests. Now, when the men went out, the forest seemed to watch them. She had crossed to the other side. She was part of the land. She was dangerous. War can either bring you together or tear you apart. It shows you who you really are. So this is who I am, a man trying to save himself with stories of the past.